Hello, and welcome to the, God damn it, I was about to say TOVG podcast.
How many years? We've been doing this for longer than the TOVG podcast.
Sleepy brain. Hello, and welcome to the Dad and Sons.
Are we sure we're not back in time?
Yeah, no, we're not back in time. I don't hear Jimmy click-clacking on World of Warcraft.
Instead, you hear me clacking on my
We just hear George click-clacking
keyboard.
away.
Yeah.
Miss you, Jimmy.
So how are you guys doing? Did you guys play some games? Are you guys ready for the game that's coming out in
The game of
a few
the year?
hours?
I can't believe you call it
You mean the game that came out 7 minutes
a
ago?
game and not an interactive, life-changing experience. Also, yeah, what?
It came out 7 minutes ago.
It comes out in a day, I thought.
It came out 7 minutes ago. I'm from the
it's
future.
midnight. That's right, you are.
I live in a present timeline where Death Stranding
Son of a bitch.
is now a publicly available piece of software.
Oh man, I wonder if I wonder actually what the reviews did to the launch day waiting times. Like if we see lines and stuff, are those going to be kicked out by maybe some apprehension from the reviews?
I don't think so. I think
down a notch.
I think whoever was going to buy this game or had any interest in it anyway is going to buy it regardless. Regardless
Guilty
of
as
whether
charged.
it gets a 6.8 or it gets a 10 out of 10 or a 40 out of 40 from Famitsu.
I haven't been looking at anything. It's been getting bad reviews, is what you're saying?
It's been getting disparaging reviews.
Divisive.
Yes.
What if it's all like a joke?
I think some people who've already played it and reviewed it might think it is.
There's one, the Edge magazine has actually refused to review it. They canceled their review. The guy found it too boring to finish.
Well, I mean, that kind of sounds like what I thought it was going to be. The delivery, man.
I have my suspicions. Yeah, I was worried that the asynchronous multiplayer would make something a lot more interesting to play when it's out with millions of other people building bases instead of just the 30 reviewers. Like, it can really, as I'm sure we are all aware of, the environment and the pacing and the pressures that you're through when you make a review can really impact your opinion and how much fun you're having.
Kojima just posted a nice fun little tweet. He doesn't seem to be in Japan right now, but he had a zoom in of it turning to midnight on his phone, Japan time. And he just did a nice little thumbs up. That cute boy.
That boy is not phased. He is not phased.
Because he knows he's going to sell like 10 million.
All right, and everyone's going to love this game, even though it might be garbage. I'm still going to enjoy the hell out of it.
Oh, man, I can't wait for you to come next week and just talk so much shit about it.
Oh, you know it. But hey, man, there's got to be something cool about it. I mean, it can't all be.
It's one of those, right? Can I quote one review at least for you, Matt? Just a small tidbit.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Supposedly, it doesn't get good until about 10 hours in.
Oh my god.
Familiar story.
Oh no.
God, I can't believe I'm about to say something similar. Outer Worlds, like, my opinion on it has gradually gone over into like really lovey-dovey, gushy territory. I'm falling in love with this game.
George, I hear the clicking.
Yes.
Refrain. Refrain.
We changed
Refrain.
topics. I made a new timestamp for the listeners.
You tried to transition, but we're still on the Kojima hype. You can't ignore it. You're the biggest Kojima fan here. It's
I know.
It's your novel duty as the famous Metal Gear YouTuber. Play this game.
But that's more like next week. Oh, okay, yeah. See,
And it's going to be super funny because the next review you're going to do is definitely not going to be a Death Stranding review.
I'm going to be doing colorblind modes video this week, and then probably Death Stranding for the next couple weeks, and then back to Disco Elysium and and Outer Worlds and stuff. But yeah, okay, like Death Stranding, it feels to me over here in America where we live in the past, like a next week thing. Over there in Japan, I'm sure it feels like the most timely, relevant thing.
Like a now thing?
Yeah, over there where it's midnight, 12 o'clock.
You guys are holding me up. I could be stranding with people.
Oh my god.
Well, good thing we started early.
Yeah, after the podcast at like 2 a.m., you can go buy Death Stranding. You know, actually, yeah, I bet they do midnight launches. Midnight launches, how popular are they in Japan?
No, it depends. Usually console launches are the big one. You know, I preloaded it, so it doesn't matter.
Oh my god, so you're not even gonna have to go to a store. Wait, are you literally going to turn the podcast off and then play Death Stranding after we're done?
Yeah. You know it.
That sounds so accommodating, doesn't it, George? Doesn't it, George? You know, just do it.
But what are
you know what's
why
also
does that
easy,
mean
George?
We can't talk?
Pre-ordering is also pretty easy. You know what I'm gonna have to do? Literally 2 seconds to the store, go in, show a little receipt, pay for the rest, and then go right back out.
Wait. Are you trying to talk shit about how I don't pre-order and just like call a store and go?
It's so much. Well, not necessarily talking shit, but it's saying it's unnecessary.
Okay,
you don't have to look for anything. You pay $5 to reserve something real quick. Even at Best Buy, if you don't have to go to GameStop, and then
so for clarification though, because the listeners aren't going to know, we need to like talk about what's happening here. We're all going to be playing Death Stranding in like a day
in different ways.
I'm going to call a store that has, as I typically do. I haven't really felt the temptation or the need to pre-order. I just call a store. Usually it takes no more than 2 phone calls.
George, I love you so much, but man, do I want this to be sold out.
Me too.
Liam has it digitally pre-ordered, preloaded on his PS4. Matt has it physically pre-ordered in a store.
Yeah.
So, but okay, you just like call 2 stores and then show up and it's there, and then it's like buying any other thing. You can't talk shit about it.
That's what you're hoping.
It's always been the case, without fail.
I don't know, this is the biggest game of the year.
And yeah, last year Smash Ultimate was the biggest game of the year, and I just went to Target instead of GameSpot, and they had shelves of it.
Did you see that Smash Brothers became the highest selling fighting game series of all time? I say fighting game with quotations.
No, it's a fighting game. I don't know. Did we ever like settle on that? Do we have a rule about whether or not?
I disagree with you as a huge fan of Smash Brothers, but I'll talk more about that after, because today was another exciting day in regards to Smash Brothers. But anyway.
Oh yeah. We might get into that with the news. There was the big SNK presentation.
Whoa, just skipping over the fact that I want to talk about Tear Bear.
What the fuck am I even doing here? Go ahead, fine. Talk about what I can't segue. I can't hint. I can't foreshadow.
You can't type on the keyboard.
Can't type on the keyboard.
We are driving.
Do you know who is good at foreshadowing, though?
The past couple episodes.
Do you know who is good at foreshadowing, though? Or claims to be?
Oh!
Hideo Kojima. Now we're back full circle, and let's continue.
Because the thing is, I didn't even expect to talk that much about Death Stranding, because A, it's not out, because B, the reviews did end up divided. Oh my fucking... Liam, because it's been out for 15 minutes at 12:16 a.m. in Japan for 1 out of the 3 people. That's like, what, 33% for only 15 minutes? The game is out for an extremely small minority of the participants here.
Liam already has his PS4 on. He has it warming up. Yeah.
For practical thoughts and considerations, Death Stranding's not out right now.
Wait, actually, that's a good idea. I don't. I could have it on. I could be looking at it.
Yeah.
I could be doing all of these things, and yet I'm wrapped up in a blanket, drinking tea, talking to you.
But I don't. Does it feel like a little dirty to you guys to be getting hyped up about something that's getting 6s and 7s?
I am not hyped about this game. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying. No, when I say I'm enjoying the discourse, I'm not. It's weird to think that we live in a weird cultural media age where the disparaging hatred for Rick and Morty because of the people who like it, and now the overlapping same people who hate Death Stranding.
I really like Rick and Morty. What's wrong with Rick and Morty?
Oh boy! Oh,
well,
we have a lot to talk about.
I don't actually think there is anything wrong with Rick and Morty as a show, but the discourse around it on the internet is another thing.
It's like how it's been marketed and interpreted.
Oh,
like,
the smart stuff.
Did you
see?
Yeah.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a damn show.
That was like all of the Death Stranding reviews was like, well, this reviewer didn't get it because they're not smart enough to understand
IQ
Mr. Kojima's
wasn't high enough.
When I was reviewing Metal Gear, that was a little bit of that. There was a little bit of that in the comments.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I'm good.
You're one of them.
See, you kind of got to worry, like the thing is, I was super duper in love with Kojima's work and whatnot. They completely enraptured me as a teenager turning into a young adult. Now I'm a regular adult, and going back to a lot of that, MGS 1 and 3 is still good most of the time, but there's, I can't say they've exactly aged as well as, I don't know, George Clooney.
That boy does look good.
That's the only celebrity over 50 you know, isn't it?
Probably at least like the most handsome. Anyways, so yeah,
but did you
Matt,
did you actually see the Death Stranding Rick and Morty advert?
I did. It was.
See, that's the thing. There's so much stuff tied to Rick and Morty. Like Conan, come on.
You mean Death Stranding?
Yeah. There's so many things tied to it.
Oh, okay.
Like there's so many brands. It's weird for it to be sucky. It's so weird. How do you fail that hard?
I remember like watching through Rick and Morty and enjoying it and having a good old clever time with the fun cartoon sitcom. But then I saw a commercial on Adult Swim that used the slogan, "Only a show this stupid could be this smart." And I was thinking to myself, like, oh no, there's a lot of 19-year-olds who are going to misinterpret that and take it seriously. And then 2 months later, Szechuan sauce happened, and now it's not cool to like Rick and Morty anymore. Like, it's not because of the show itself. It's stuff outside of the show's control.
People outside should not change your opinion about the show.
But it's made me...
If you like the show, you should just like the show.
I feel like it opens the door, though, on how it can be misinterpreted like that. Like, Rick and Morty has a lot of jokes that kind of, like, make fun of nihilism and faux intellectualism, but then it makes you realize that there's a chunk of the audience who are, like, too young to know any better. And then it makes me wonder if it's doing that kind of joke with the kind of nuance and maturity that is required to make sure it lands on as much of the audience as possible. I also heard that season 3 wasn't as good as the first two.
I disagree. But those other people are like, oh, there's a woman writing now. No, I actually... what happened is that it stopped being single episodes. It started being like a whole clean, like...
the arcs.
And the arcs I thought were good.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. Like finding out that they're clones and not the... That was a fun reveal that you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't seen previous eps.
Yeah, and they talk about it. So yeah, well, whatever. It's fine. All
right. Well,
you can like things. Just ignore other people. Like things, you can like anything you want, apart from racism and all that garbage. Don't like that.
Yeah, don't.
Even pineapple on
not around me.
Be a prick on the internet. Don't be a prick on the internet either.
Or so you can't like Randy Pitchford. Then got it.
But. You can like pricks on the internet, but don't be a prick, maybe. Do you guys use the slang prick? Or is that just an English thing?
Yes.
No, I like prick. Prick, it has a hit to it.
It does. It has like a tang.
Like
it's used to describe both genitalia and the feeling of pain. So it's versatile.
Oh, I love it when they use it in fantasy books.
Or
she touched my prick. Wait, it didn't sound good. Not that type of fantasy.
That's what it sounds like in the UK, and it's basically the calling sign of you're about to get beaten up.
So anyways,
Outer Worlds.
have you guys been playing more Outer Worlds? Because Outer Worlds is all I'm playing right now.
I finished it.
I can't believe you finished it.
I have been playing it, but
It's
I am
not that long.
lagging behind.
If you focus on the main quest, you're probably just gonna like
No. I did
scoop this
every
game
other-
and then throw it out.
Oh my god, I did every quest.
I don't understand how you can do every quest and finish that game in like 4 days.
Was it 4 days? I don't
We
think it
are
was 4
talking about
days.
Matt.
Yeah. So Matt's a machine.
It wasn't 4 days, but it was good for most of the time.
You just have to like put some gasoline inside of Matt and pull a cord and he
He's
starts
like,
chugging.
I gotta look up if those planets were actually vacant or something, because there was like it's like a planet.
I know the 2 planets you're talking about, and I'm still not there. And oh, I know what it is. I bet it's supernova mode and lack of fast travel. Like every time I got to go back to a planet and turn in a quest, it's a 5-minute walk, 10 minutes if there's monsters.
Oh god.
Yeah. Okay. So
Oh,
I eventually got used to it, though. The idea is to like consolidate your quests so you can check in multiple times by making one trip. Like bring a bunch of groceries up the stairs. Yeah. No, I've like come to really like supernova mode, and even this game's jank ass stiffy combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know if anyone else had any comments before I like go down
I'm ready for the novel.
my roller coaster here. Yeah, the novel.
Let
Okay.
me just preface this by saying I have not progressed past. I think I'm just about to go to Monarch.
Wow.
Whoa, dude.
Some of us have jobs, friends.
Oh my god. Yo, dude, that's not no. It's been like 2 weeks, man. You can't say that's about jobs.
Do
You've
you
been
remember
doing
when you
something
played
else.
through both
You've been
Bloodstained games in like a couple days?
15 hours I've played this game so far. Come on.
That's
Well,
you. That's all you. It's all you. 15 hours in 2 weeks is. Whew.
There's other things to do with life.
that probably means he was like hanging out with girlfriend and regular friends and eating food and
So am
being
I.
outside in the sun. And
I went to San Diego to party.
Outer Worlds is cool, but all that stuff sounds important too.
Did you take a PS4 with you?
No. Oh my god, no.
Got your own little travel case? You're like, I must finish this game right now.
No. I'm not thinking about
okay.
games at all when I'm out.
Matt,
that
I know
brain
the
is
2 planets
turned
you're
off.
talking about. They're still not unlocked for me. I'm like 30 to 40 hours in, and I've been doing a lot of quests on Monarch. I thought I would have Monarch wrapped up a few days ago. It turns out there's a lot to do on Monarch, and Monarch is almost feeling like the main, like primary hub for the whole game. If the time that I'm spending there is comparable to the other little towns, you have the city, Byzantium, you have some space stations that you go to, which are little dungeons. But yeah, I'm doing the science weapons. Did you do the science weapons quests?
I did all of that.
Ah!
I did
So
all
you
of
got
that.
the fun stuff, the mind control ray, the shrink ray.
So the four planets that you see on the map that are locked, you can't access them, and there's no quest for them.
Wait, forever? For everyone?
For everyone.
Like you looked it up?
I looked it up.
Oh.
I thought this game was gonna be a long time, and there was this point where it's like, oh, there's a point of no return, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like the midway point, and played it, and it just ended, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, that's it. The companions are just like the quests are weak. They're weak,
Really?
man. Yes.
You didn't like doing... Wait, I don't know if I'm allowed to spoil.
One
how
of
the
them is
companion
like
quest
helping with a date.
Oh yeah. That's
And that's
perverted,
goofy.
right?
It's nice. The voice acting is great, but it's stretched out. I'm gonna get this dress on this planet. I'm going to get this on this planet. It's a fetch quest. There's nothing meaty about that. Like, I did not want to do Felix's stuff because I just don't care about that guy. So I did skip him. But, like, yeah, it's just, it was a little weak. The companions are
Felix
weak.
has you hooking up with a guy who has a base that you can make decisions with to put him on your side or blast his way out. I liked Felix's quest. I liked the Vikar's quest. So now I can't even like mention the stuff about the game I want to talk about. Ah!
You can say how much you loved it.
Yes, you didn't like the Vikar's quest where you just like go have a spiritual journey formation anniversary.
Yo, every time there's a game like this that comes out, especially Space, I think about Mass Effect. If you cannot beat Mass Effect 1 or 2, because Mass Effect 3 or whatever that crap that came out after doesn't exist.
Andromeda.
And Poopita.
Oh, good one. That's so good from the guy who didn't like Outer Worlds.
I so badly wanted to say that too.
Where you just have all this dialogue with your companions, and then you have these nice side quests that kind of just fit in. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I need to play that again. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. Maybe I'm romanticizing Mass Effect 2, but geez, it was way freaking better than this garbage. I mean, sorry, it's not garbage.
It's a different style. It's like
it's great,
cynical and game. Quiet.
And
sarcastic. Mass Effect plays everything straight.
It's missing so much, man. It's missing so much,
man.
I think it's a different game. I think you can't
a different game
to. I think
a different game, Liam.
The Mass Effect, yeah.
All that content is a different game. What is this?
Wait, are we still talking about Outer
Worlds?
Outer Worlds. Let's see.
I don't think. Well, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Like, you can finish Mass Effect 2 in like 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Outer Worlds takes 30 hours, right?
Oh, yeah, no. Standard practice is $60, so we are going to have to compare it to
I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of this game so far. Like, a lot of the buildings, it's just like Fallout. You know, you go into a building, just scavenge around, you fucking shoot some shit, talk to some dudes.
Story is 11 hours. With extra, it's 21 hours.
I have definitely been going down the extra path then.
But how much is Mass Effect?
I'm looking it up now.
Don't
Mass
lie.
Effect 1 or 2?
Don't you lie to me, Matt.
Two, the main story is 24 hours.
And
with
how much?
Extras, 36.
And how
36 hours.
Oh.
Rushed is 15.
Okay, if we're going to be going down a discussion about how much hours the game has, then you should...
There was so much dialogue. There was
wasn't
character
good
building.
dialogue.
There was world building. I'm just saying...
There's world building.
The games these days sucks. When it comes down to some of the stuff that he used to do, man.
How can you have a game called The Outer Worlds without any outer world building?
Dude, I don't know, man. I'll just say this. Like, the companions, the board is loose. Like, you don't actually understand what the hell is going on. Like, you meet some of them. Just the interaction with the factions and everything, it just seems everything is separated from that is separated, and it's separated from the main quest as well. Like, the main quest seems something totally different, and then you're just on this big side quest all the time for the rest of the world. That's how it feels like. It doesn't seem all connected.
And I feel like I have a greater tolerance for that because I actually like that.
Yeah, no.
I know. Yeah, you're just like, yeah, I know.
I was gonna say, like, it's weird because Matt, you kind of brought it up when we were talking about it in Discord. Like, this game just feels like you're just kind of being a space cowboy. You're just walking around doing shit, being a freelancer. Like, it doesn't feel like there is a big overarching story even when you're on the main quest line.
You're saving the Hope colonists, except the scientist has clearly got an ulterior motive that you find out.
Talking. about
How can I say
the
anything
end
anymore?
of the game.
I'm not. That's the whole premise.
Is it though?
Yes.
Is it though?
It's about taking down capitalism or enforcing
Is it, though?
capitalism.
They missed the ball.
I feel like
It's good.
Basically,
It's a good
what I'm
game.
trying to say without spoiling anything is that the side quests and the main quest tend to feature doing the same things, or they feel to have the same weight of importance upon them. There isn't like.
Wait, how's that bad though?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's necessarily bad. Sometimes you do want to play a game where the side, like The Witcher, I feel like is the best example of this. Where
and also the Fallout franchise has always been.
No, I think the Fallout edges more towards where everything's a bit more samey. Everything's the same weight of importance. Whereas The Witcher, I feel, has very clear, highlighted main quest scenarios that change the dynamic of either the world or the game or the characters or the story. And the side quests are these neato, pieced together, nice little tidbit stories that see Geralt doing other stuff that is of importance in that tiny story, but doesn't have an overarching importance upon the world. Whereas the Outer Worlds, neither the side quests or the main quests really have too much importance, like beyond, progressing further into space and doing stuff. Fallout's the same. I never felt like there were quests in Fallout that had major consequence that were like they changed the face of the game, and that was the moment people remember. Everything was very similar, and I feel like that's fun, and I do get a lot of enjoyment out of that, but I can see why Matt thinks, hey, this game is missing something here. It's missing like this importance to it. Like there is this board and the idea of taking down or like trying to, build up some form of, uprising to come against capitalism so we can save all these wonderful colonists and all this kind of jazz. But it doesn't really seem like it tries to put too much importance on that. That's just the background story.
Yeah.
I feel that part of the reasons why maybe it doesn't go super duper ham on whether or not you're going to be destroying capitalism is because the rhetoric of the game is going to dig into the pressures and the anxieties that the workers working on the game were feeling. And I feel like that is a bold new direction that creates this vibe of apprehension in a game's flavor text I've never really felt before. Like when you're reading through a diary of a team of workers who are like locked in the factory and starved because the company doesn't think they're profitable anymore, and they roll along with it and are fine with it up to a point where they realize they're gonna die, and then you start reading a bunch of diary issues that are like, here's this big middle finger to my boss, I'm gonna make sure my corpse dies in the pose of so they know. I feel like it would have been really weird writing that stuff under the conditions of a crunch-imposed game launch with a troublesome, janky engine to work with, and that feeling of discomfort is something that I think is very, very relevant and unique to our times that you're not going to be able to capture in many other games and many other release windows.
I do feel like the Outer Worlds has some pretty high moments when it comes to writing or character dialogue. I think Matt would agree, and it has kind of talked about, is that the companions in this game are pretty fucking great, and they have a lot of personality. There's jank all over the place, and they're buggy and weird sometimes, but
they're also unconventional. They're not normal companions.
Yeah, it does feel like you are. It does feel like you're not alone while you're going through the game. It always feels like you have, those characters. Whereas in Fallout, it's like next to hero or anything, like whether I'm alone or I'm not alone, I forget. Same with Skyrim and that kind of thing. Whereas in the Outer Worlds, it does feel like if I turn around and, Parvati is there, or Max, or Ellie, and you're like, hey guys, how's it going? Let's shoot some dude in the dick and take his helmet.
Ever since Fallout, the team behind this stuff has always put forth an effort to try to break conventions and just completely slap the fucking archetypes in the face. Like, your companions are going to be a priest and a cleaning robot. They're wacky. They're zany. I guess Hunter Girl Nyoka kind of fits a usual archetype. Felix sort of does as well, but the others are unique, weird kind of characters I haven't so often had to encounter. Like a priest who has a crisis of faith. I loved his side quest. And he like becomes a space never mind.
What?
There's something that happened at the end too, some type of glitch.
Oh yeah, you were saying you had like a problem where you couldn't even finish the game.
Oh yeah, that. And then for some reason at the end, one of my characters died for some reason, for no reason at all.
Oh.
Like it wasn't in a cutscene. Don't worry, it's not like a spoiler or anything. It's like it just literally said this person did not survive. And I'm like, she was with me. What are you talking about? It's just I don't like thinking about development when I'm playing a game.
Yeah, man, games are hard.
yeah, I don't want to
so hard.
I know, and I don't want to. When I talk smack, I don't want to talk smack about them. Like it's probably something happened because you can tell with the planets. Some planets are better. Some planets actually have side quests, and some planets don't. Some planets don't have a lot of good stuff going on at all. It's just an empty husk. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. Again, it's good to have a little burger just before you have a steak. If you're a little hungry. Can't wait for the steak all the time. Gotta stop at the fast food. Get yourself a little dollar menu cheeseburger.
I also wanted to do a brief word about figuring out the combat system and
a brief word by
adapting
George.
to supernova mode where once you hit leadership 20 and can use the companion abilities, it basically gives you a window of invincibility to press a button on your keyboard where crazy slow motion VATS nonsense happens. The animation basically has the camera pan around a character firing a weapon and then immediately cuts to an enemy getting splattered by the weapon. So if you
completely forgot that you can do that.
It completely changes the game, actually. I think this might explain why I'm so having my opinion inflated by it. Is once I got those companion abilities, it all clicked in a way that it didn't before.
I got them super easy when I had only one companion, and I was using Parvati with a big hammer. And then once I got multiple companions, I completely forgot about it, because combat is relatively easy. But I guess you're playing on Supernova, right?
On Supernova mode, it's not. Yeah, what you do on Supernova mode is sneak all the time, look at the next group of enemies, try to figure out where you can lure them into a choke point, manually position your party to ambush them, go up, sneak attack the first enemy, run away, maybe close a door or something, and then you press that slow motion button and start thinking out every little individual move that your party's gonna do. And it feels like it's actually making good on the idea that VATS was trying to do, which is to RPGify your FPS combat system and engine. Because in the Outer Worlds, all of your combat stats fold into TTD. Like even stealth, you can use... There's a perk that will increase your movement speed under TTD. So if you're about to get spotted, you can press the TTD button and like zip at super speed behind cover and still maintain your stealth. Or if you're a melee character, or if you like shotguns, you can use TTD and that movement speed to close the gap and get close-up range into enemies. And while you're managing that, you're also managing the meters for your cooldown abilities, which give you a window of invincibility. And that window of invincibility is like a little sanctuary where you can think with all the safety and the time that you would have in a normal RPG about your next move. And I've had some really, really fun fights by kind of playing it like a single-player Borderlands game. In Supernova mode, the enemies get really bullet spongy. It takes like 50 bullets to kill one giant mutant mantis. So you're constantly zipping in and out of slow motion mode, working on where your companions are going to be positioned in order to make sure everyone has a good line of sight, that everyone's meters are refilling at a good rate, and that you keep up this DPS machine long enough to kill down a big bullet spongy bad guy together, and it feels good.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Truly. Yeah. No, it's nice. It's nice to see you're enthusiastic about a game that is modern. And is out now. I guess it's the least modern of the modern games.
I know, modern in like a lot of quotation marks. That modern is doing a lot of legwork here. But yeah, like I mean, last week I was a little underwhelmed. I think that the aesthetics, the presentation of it felt a decade behind the times, but now that I've had times to overcome that curve and tolerate it and ramp the difficulty of it and learn how to work with it under those conditions, I'm invested and appreciating my investment.
Yeah, I mean, I only invested $1, so.
Exactly. Speaking of things inflating our opinions, the price tag is probably another big reason I'm so happy with it.
I bought it on PS4, so.
well, you could be somewhere in the middle.
I think it's because the PC version I played for like 6 hours, but I had to start again because the bugs were so bad. But I was enjoying it, and I didn't want to not play it, so I had to replay like my first 6 hours again as well. So there you go, Matt. Maybe that's why I'm not a monarch yet.
I don't know, man. I think you just been doing other stuff. I think you just been playing other games.
No, I've been making games. That's the problem.
Hey,
I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I try, man. I try.
I want to get a little beta going on. What's going on, man? Hook a brother up, man.
Hey, man, chill out.
Jeez.
Hey, man.
Guys, do you not get anxiety about how many games are coming out right now? And you'll never be able to play all of them.
Well, I'm definitely playing Star Wars and Death Stranding for sure.
But what about Pokemon as well?
Oh, yeah, I'm playing Pokemon. Yeah.
My enthusiasm for Pokemon kind of...
November. No, it's funny. It's so funny you say that because my enthusiasm was a bottom zero. Was like, this is a safe bet. Now I can just buy Jedi Fallen Order and have a great time with a cool Star Warsy Bloodborne game that has Metroid elements. Sounds fucking cool. But then I saw the leaks. I don't know if you guys saw the Pokemon leaks at all. You guys care about how many Pokemon have been cut or are cut or on?
No.
Okay,
I wish I didn't, but I did see those same leaks. And
wait, because this is a spoilers for anybody who cares about Pokemon, because some people are really touchy about this for some reason, whatever. So...
Oh, the full Pokedex is leaked. Holy shit.
Yeah, the whole Pokedex leaked, and 400 Pokemon are in Sword and Shield, which is a lot. But 81 of them are new Pokemon or new species. So that means like 512 previous Pokemon, something around that number, have been cut from the game.
Damn.
Including...
what did they expect?
Including... some, well-known famous favorites like the Bulbasaur line and the Squirtle line. No Squirtle, no Bulbasaur, no Scyther, no Dragonite, no Ho-Oh, no Lugia, no Mewtwo.
No
Mew's in
Dragonite?
there, though. Yeah, no Dragonite. What? No Tentacool, no Tentacruel, no Beedrill.
Why would they cut the original 150?
This is the thing, right? So I can understand why you don't have 900 plus Pokemon in a video game. And no matter how many people scream and shout on Twitter about animations are taken from other games, doesn't work like that. You don't understand how video game development works, so don't try that bullshit. But what I won't understand is, and I'm not somebody who is like, oh, the 150 were the best, because of the reason I'll talk about in a minute why I got excited about the new game. You should still always include the original 150.
Nostalgia.
I don't
just based on nostalgia.
Yeah, just based on nostalgia. I do not understand how the most iconic Pokemon, some of them get cut. Like, I get it, but you have to make that tiny bit more effort just to make sure the 150 are in there. Like there's some of the later ones. I mean, that's fine. Cut those out. There's not so much nostalgia for those guys. Don't make 900 plus Pokemon, but do definitely keep the 150. I don't understand why they didn't.
Okay, I have a lot of questions.
Wait. I just want to say, the reason I got excited was because I saw the leaks of what the new Pokemon look like. And it's been kind of, a contested thing on the internet about how shit or how lazy or like people don't like some of the new Pokemon that have come out in recent years. I was actually like going through some of the new Pokemon, and I think a load of them look really neat. And they're inspired by really obscure, weird things from, because obviously the new game's set in England or Britain or whatever. And they have really obscure Pokemon references to strange things like old coal trains in the UK that used to ferry coal across from factory to factory. There's like this giant volcano looking motherfucker with like flame coals on his back. It looks awesome. So there's all these new Pokemon that have these weird references, but there's a heck of a lot of like insect based Pokemon as well, like centipedes and dragonflies and ladybirds. And they're all really unique looking, and they look way better than Pokemon in recent times. So I'm actually kind of excited now because of the new Pokemon, not the old ones.
So I have a lot of questions. As someone who doesn't know much about Pokemon and is not like particularly invested either way, one of the big things that completely goes over my head whenever I read about this issue is, did all Pokemon games up until this point include every Pokemon ever?
No.
Is that actually what they're... Because that sounds like what they want.
No.
And that sounds a little unreasonable.
No. No, I don't think they did, but it was possible to transfer Pokemon from older games into...
How did that work?
Because you can trade it.
Pokemon Bank.
Pokemon Bank, yeah, Pokemon Bank.
What model and animation would they use? Like, if they didn't make an asset for some weird obscure Pokemon from 20 years ago, what happens?
Well, they obviously had the models for every Pokemon on the 3DS games.
Yeah. They just weren't available to catch. They were there. They weren't available to catch. You could transfer your team over.
Oh, so this was the gimmick they would use to get people to trade with each other. I think I get it.
Or they would do it
better.
so you could... the main premise of the game?
Well, I'm fucking sorry that I haven't seriously played Pokemon since I was like 13.
No, so I think people's problem is obviously Pokemon Bank existed, so you could have full Pokedexes and keep them in there and all this kind of jazz, but now you can't trade to the Switch version, and the Switch version is completely brand new, all new models, all based on other ones, and you can't trade. So there isn't data for all of the Pokemon now. Maybe there will be in time. Maybe they will keep updating it. Maybe they'll release DLC. Maybe it's a completely different model. Nobody knows yet. But for right now, there is only 400 Pokemon, which is still a lot of Pokemon.
They kept Charmander, and I wanted Score Bunny. Now I have to make a decision. I'm gonna get Charmander.
Grookey boys.
Yeah, I don't pick grass. I don't know why.
I don't pick grass either, usually. I pick either fire or water, but Grookey looks he looks the best.
I can't see him. Yeah, I can't see his final transformation.
Oh, man. I won't spoil it, but it's something.
Oh, it's like a big monkey.
Well, there you go. You spoiled it. It's like a big monkey with two like drumming sticks with a giant bongo in the middle. He looks like a hippie. He looks awesome.
The water type looking slender. I like that. Hey.
Are you sexually attracted to a Pokemon now?
No. I'm not one of those types of dudes.
Oh, I thought we were sharing.
No. It's just you, Liam.
God damn it.
And maybe George. Yeah.
I thought I finally found others.
He's already into furries. Pokemon is not that far on, right?
Wait, no, I don't. You shh.
I mean, if you watch Detective Pikachu, there are some furry Pokemon in there.
That doesn't mean that you're a furry.
Wait, so we all gonna play Pokemon as well?
Probably.
And Jedi Fallen Order? Will that
kidding?
be 4 games in 1 month we play together? Oh my!
Well,
I don't
George
know if
might
I
not
can do
play.
all that in 1 month. I'm finishing the Outer Worlds. I'm finishing Disco Elite. It feels so good to have 2 excellent RPGs that are like nerdy and Western that I can just jump on right now. It's great.
Yeah,
And
you
Death
tell me how
Stranding.
it feels to beat Disco, because
It's
I feel
so
like I don't
weird.
have the patience for it.
Yeah, Disco's not for everyone. Outer Worlds isn't for everyone. It's weird that there are 2 games that feel like they're out specifically catering to like the niches I'm interested in.
Disco,
And then Death Stranding, which I should be, but I'm not as much as the other 2.
Yeah, Disco got the 17th ever 10 out of 10 from GameSpot.
Holy crap. There's only been 17?
Yeah, supposedly.
That's like one every other year. That's not a lot.
No. One of them was MGS4.
Whoops. Yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
Which I liked. So maybe
it's
I'll like
fine.
Death
It's
Stranding.
time and place and individual writer and unpredictable variables contribute to a number.
It's funny because I was thinking about Death Stranding because somebody asked for my PlayStation ID today at my office. And I was thinking, man, I've had this PlayStation ID since I was 16 years old, which is when I bought a PlayStation 3 to play Metal Gear Solid 4 or whenever it was. Maybe I was 18. I can't remember. But I was like, oh, damn. MGS4 was the reason I bought a PlayStation 3 and set up this account. And now I'm going to play Death Stranding tomorrow. Oh, my God.
So, we got any other games we're playing through these days?
Smash Brothers.
You're back on Smash?
I never stopped. I honestly
Why
play.
did
It has been a consistent like 3-4 months now where I have pretty much played Smash every day at lunchtime, sprinkled with Destiny in the middle somewhere.
So what's new these days?
Terry,
Yeah,
Are you okay?
the 50-minute video.
are you okay?
Okay.
Are you okay? Okay. Yeah, Sakurai's 45-minute massive nerd rant about SNK games, which was both beautiful and weird that an official Nintendo video about Smash Bros. Was basically Sakurai just talking about his love of SNK and how nerdy the details are for this update, which is delightful. Also, Smash Bros. Is for good boys and good girls.
And not my.
Not my November. No, my November. But Terry came out after the video finished with a new update. And it's funny, you were talking about whether Smash Brothers is a fighting game or not. Well,
Because he has fighting inputs like Ryu. You got a quarter circle.
Terry, no, he has more. He has way more than Ryu and Ken have to argue the case that Smash Brothers is now partially, if you were not inclined before, is now partially like a fighting game because one character acts entirely like a fighting game character.
So now Smash Brothers is only partially a fighting game.
Yes, because
Oh my god.
whatever
Liam.
percentage of the character roster is Terry. Well, he's 1%. So
You understand that Smash Bros. Is part of the FGC, right?
I know
It's a game in which
And
people
you know
fight.
what the FGC stands for, right?
Final
Fighting.
Games Community.
What happens when two Smash players press buttons on their controllers? What do the characters do?
Well, what happens when you play League of Legends and the characters throw things at each other by pressing buttons?
It's not the same thing.
The genre is literally called fighting, and that is what you do in these games.
It's like a brawler than anything else.
I see. The thing is, I know what you mean, and it just makes me go.
Yes.
See, okay, so I played a lot of fighting games, and I understand, and to be honest, it doesn't matter at all to me, but in my own mind, I don't think Smash Bros. Is a fighting game. I don't. But it's a game I love, and I love playing because you fight in it. Okay?
Wow.
Right?
Wow, the
Anyway,
logic is crazy.
but now Terry is in
The
it.
mind of Liam, everyone.
Now Terry is in it, and I am well versed with fighting games. He's great because he plays like a fighting game character. But this is probably what, in my mind, makes my point even stronger. Terry feels so different to every other character because he's a fighting game character that it makes the other characters not feel like they're part of the same game. So that, to me, means that Smash Bros. Wasn't built to be like a fighting game. If Terry feels so much like a fighting game character, yeah, everybody else is different, that, to me, proves that Smash Bros. Really isn't a fighting game. Pedanticness aside,
Yeah,
Terry
there's
is
so
really
many
fun.
places I could have jumped in there.
Yeah, Terry is really fun. He is complex, and he has his faults. Like his recovery game and his air game is abysmal because he doesn't have that many neutral hits that hit hard or at good angles. He's pretty slow. But on the ground, he's a beast. He's a monster. He has so many options, and you can do them by doing...
Mac?
Yeah, he's not Little Mac power, but he has a shoulder barge that is really powerful. He has Buster Wolf, which is like a diving punch, like Little Mac's charge punch. And if you do the command input, the quarter circle forward to do it, you do an even more powerful version, which can KO people at like 50, 60% if you absolutely get it nice spot on. He has the best thing, though, which is you can do the typical mash A melee combo, like all characters can. But you can cancel Terry's combo to do a special, like you can in fighting games. And it's awesome because you can be like doing a combo and then you can end it in a special, like with a command input, and you deal so much damage to people and they get so salty and it's beautiful.
I'm sure that it feels really great for you to see those very salty, sad gamers losing to you in Smash. I bet you just love it.
But the thing is, I play Banjo all the time because Banjo is just unstoppable for the most part. But it's so nice to play a completely different character that requires thought.
Wow.
You have to actually... No, like most Smash characters, you know what I mean. You press A, you press B, you do a little bit of this, you do a little bit of that, and everything's fine. Whereas with Terry, you're really not... He's not very good unless you do the command input. He's not like Ryu and Ken where... Cool, you get a fiery Hadouken and the Shoryuken might be a bit more powerful. Terry actually requires you to learn how to do the inputs. And his biggest attribute is that when he hits 100%, he has what's called the go meter. And the go meter allows him to do like a special attack at any time. And he can keep using it until he dies. But there are two of them. One is the geyser attack and one is the Buster Wolf. One is 2 quarter circles forward and B. And the other one is like a quarter circle back and a half circle forward. So pretty, if you don't play fighting games and you're used to Smash Brothers sideways inputs and stuff, that's pretty complex. But if you don't use it, you're like missing out like a good 40% of what makes Terry good. So you kind of need to learn how to do inputs, which means then you're kind of like playing a fighting game. And that's what makes him cool.
Unlike Smash, which is just not a fighting game.
Yeah, of course. You took the words right out of my mouth there, George.
Wow. Matt, we...
If you like Smash and you want to try something new, get Terry.
Wait, also, you mentioned that you're playing this during lunch, right?
Yeah.
Is that thanks to the Switch's portability?
Well, I work in a video game office, so we have like TVs with Switch docks everywhere, so
never mind.
It's not hard to play.
Because I just love the visual image of kids these days smashing out at the lunch table.
You gotta stop saying smashing out.
Yeah, I probably should. Matt, you got anything?
Oh man, Bojack the Horseman came out a new season. It's still good. Oh my god. Whoa.
I need to catch up with that.
Dude, Bojack the Horseman is god level show. Cinema, Netflix, and
godlike chill.
Yeah, definitely slight chill, slight worry, but yeah.
Would this show just stress me out?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Back in the 2000s, I was a famous YouTuber.
That would be sick. But yeah, I got addicted to it. I'm on the new season. Like it's a good show in my opinion, like really good. And they're pretty consistent. And they always do some different things on a couple of the episodes. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. Hopefully this is the last season. I think it is. Does seem like it's winding down. But yeah,
I think so.
That's it. That's me. And freaking Netflix keeps auto playing stuff and it's annoying me. Stop. All right.
Did you see? Have you watched the new thing they're promoting the movie, The King.
No.
Oh, okay. Don't watch it.
Don't watch The King. What is The King?
I was really excited about it. It's a movie about it's like an adaptation of Henry V, the Shakespearean play.
Is it like Monty Python?
No. It's a very serious historical film. And it has Robert Pattinson as a French king with a bad French accent.
Really?
And Timothy Chalamet, I think that's his name, an American actor who plays an English king, and he is actually fucking amazing. He is incredible in this film. He's very, very good. It's just a shame that the film is so boring. I wanted to stab myself in the eyes with arrows.
History is kind of boring.
No, you can make this. The problem is, this film has so much promise. Some of the scenes are really intense and really well acted and great, but it's padded with pacing that I don't know how to describe it. It's the slowest but fastest cutting film I've watched in a while. You know, where the story keeps jumping from part to part, like time skips of like a couple of months. Like one character's alive, but he's dying, and then all of a sudden 6 months. The next scene is 6 months later, and he's dying. He's dead. But the scenes in which it tells that story, it's so slow. Everybody talks so slow with such prose, and just it has to be beautiful cinematography, and everything's so slow, and it never goes anywhere. God, really wanted to like this film, but it's just infuriatingly boring and disappointing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a shame when you see like really, really good actors being pulled down by everybody else. The writing or other actors. I'm good. I've watched some stuff, but I think Bojack deserves its own spotlight. Bojack is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bojack is good.
The critics agree. Metal Gear Solid 2 is a hit. Newsweek says it rocks. The best video game for PlayStation 2 raves USA Today. Right, get out of here. And Game Informer names Metal Gear Solid 2 Game of the Year. I've been waiting for this. Metal Gear Solid 2, only on PlayStation 2. Rated M for mature, from Konami.
Hello. And
Hello.
welcome back to the Dad and Sons
Hello.
podcast. What? Did I do something wrong?
No, we're just saying hi.
Oh.
Wait, yeah,
I heard-
believe it or not.
That's what I heard.
Believe it or not, nothing wrong happened.
Hello.
Boy, it's been a busy week.
You're telling me.
Yeah, like last week, we deliberately did not touch on the China news because it was something that had happened the previous week before. Now it's back with a vengeance. I don't think it's unavoidable this week. We got a lot of stuff to go over. No, I won't dwell on it. I promise I won't dwell on it, though.
China 2, back with vengeance.
China
Alright, I'm
back
gonna
with
go cook some
vengeance, but
breakfast.
I understand. Okay, well, first of all, there's a topic that's important to Liam, and that's the executive switch around at Sony's PlayStation Worldwide brand today, shortly before we were recording. Shuhei Yoshida has stepped down as the Worldwide Studios president. They picked someone from Guerrilla Games. Guerrilla Games' president, named Herman Hulst, is now going to be in charge of the PlayStation brand.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's a white guy ass name compared to Shuhei Yoshida. The Japanese brand PlayStation is going to be held up by a guy named Herman now.
Well, I think he's taking over what Jack Tretton did prior, and then Jack left earlier this year. And Shuhei's role isn't Worldwide Studios head. He was different, but his role is changing from what it was to something new now, which is like a completely indie-focused thing for PlayStation 5, I imagine. So, you know, working with indies to have their games on PlayStation 5, which is great, because Sony don't have a specific indie team part of,
Except for Shuhei Yoshida's Twitter.
yeah, except for Shuhei's Twitter. Even Shuhei himself bought one of my games once, so he's
It makes a lot of sense for it in a weird way. As weird as these names are, it does make sense.
I think there are other reasons as well. Sony have had some troublesome times in the past 6 months. A lot of staff have left, like long-term staff, like Gio Corti announced he was leaving the other day. The big guy who was like head of PlayStation brand management big fan of the Vita. He's leaving, and he's been there for like 15 years. There's a lot of changes at PlayStation, so this is really interesting. But aside from the Shuhei thing being like, head of indie, which is a big thing for indie developers because it means Sony have a long-term plan to focus on, funding indie game development. The big thing is the fact that they've handpicked Herman Hulst from Guerrilla, who's ran Guerrilla for like 20 years, now to be the head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios. That's insane. He's just become the head of PlayStation almost. Not the CEO, but the head. It's quite remarkable. Not somebody who is technically... Well, I guess Guerrilla are a first-party studio of PlayStation, but technically not a PlayStation employee.
Yeah. I consider the Killzone games are very closely associated with the brand, but they always felt like such outsiders because just the like Western gray FPS nature of them compared to console mascots like Ape Escape and Metal Gear Solid and Crash Bandicoot.
Yes, I guess you're right. Yeah. So pretty massive news for PlayStation, in fact. Like, that is big. Not like Nintendo new president big, but for PlayStation's long-term, plan with PS5 coming out next year, it's pretty crazy.
Speaking of long-term plans and weird consoles, generations phasing from one to another, Death Stranding is going to be coming out on PC in a few weeks. It came out an hour and 17 minutes ago in Japan. It's been getting mixed reviews. We mentioned it earlier during the small talk, but numbers for this news section are 6.8 from IGN, 4 from Giant Bomb, which is... they got an 8 from GameSpot. Edge canceled their review and doesn't want to finish it because they think it's boring. I don't know. I'm a little apprehensive, but I don't know. I kind of like being a little apprehensive because I feel like if my expectations are lower, then they're going to be exceeded better.
I'm kind of excited by all this disparagedness, like all of these different opinions flying about. Finally, a game came out that didn't have very similar scores with just one, review that outstanding was either a 10 out of 10 or like a 4 out of 10. When like a Call of Duty comes out and it basically has all of the same numbers across the board. Death Stranding, like, you could draw a graph and it would be like up and down and up and down and up and down. I think that's kind of quite cool about the game.
Also, I want to point out the balls on IGN for that 6.8. For how much hate you constantly read about how the big game review sites are always giving the latest AAA releases like at least something like an 8. There are tons of counter examples that this isn't as ubiquitous as haters make it sound. And this is yet another one. The 6.8 from IGN on Death Stranding. That sounds like something that would not have happened, and now I just see a bunch of people complaining about how their reviewer doesn't like video games or something, how it's a conspiracy that gave it a 6.8, rather than it being a conspiracy that IGN gave Death Stranding a 9 because of getting bought off by real expensive publishers. That doesn't happen so often as you think, and this is proof.
I can't wait for Matt next week to be like, what the fuck are IGN thinking? Only 6.8.
What? No. It's just I never say anything about the score. I say everything about how poorly they review games. Like, there's nothing in that. Come on, man. I can talk crap because I reviewed games and I was thorough. Some of these reviews that I see on here are garbage. Not all of them, but they're garbage. Barely. They spoil things for no reason. It's a 5-minute review. How are you spoiling things? 5-minute review.
If anything, what pisses me off is that they can get away with making 5-minute video reviews, 400-word written reviews, and whenever.
It's all about quickness.
Okay. I'm sorry. There's someone at the door. I'll be right back, guys. Fucking what is it this time? 1 minute, please. I opt out of pest control this time. Yeah, all right. Fine. We got to. Did I walk back in on the China thing?
Yeah, we're talking about China. We've already finished. So.
China imposing the 10 p.m. curfew for kids.
What is it? They can only play like 90 minutes a day as well?
90 minutes a day on weekdays, 3 hours a day on weekends, and they're not allowed to play from 10 p.m. and 8 a.m.
Wow.
Which has happened before, believe it or not. Tencent had rules on its store which required either a government ID or a cell phone to sign up for. Believe me, I've tried. And if you had a minor registered to that number, then they would impose a curfew. In South Korea, freedom-loving, democracy, whatever the hell the West is supposed to be, South Korea, they also had a curfew imposed for minors gaming at night before. And I think in both of these situations, it doesn't really work because there's lots of easy ways to work around it. I feel bad for those kids.
Well, I was thinking about this morning when I read it. I was thinking China's like one of the dominant esports territories. Like they're massive in League of Legends and Counter-Strike and other stuff. Like definitely up there with Korea. And now esports is like a young person's game. It's like 16 to 22 and then you're phased out. You have to retire. So how are the kids going to practice? Like a League of Legends game lasts like 50 minutes. You could barely fit in 2 games a day and then you'd have to go to bed.
I'm guessing the idea is that the Chinese government wants their children to grow up to be more useful than esports athletes.
Just drones for the military.
If shit gets really, really bad.
Maybe this is China's plan. Make all the children only play 90 minutes of video games, be really good soldiers, and then all the American children who are becoming fat and obese while playing 12 hours of video games a day will not be able to fight back.
And I don't want to dwell on the frighteningly realistic possibilities of any sort of societal collapse in the future, drastically recontextualizing how important we consider video games. Very, very, very new, interesting, quick mention I want to throw out. There was a BBC doc on Death Stranding, and Kojima has a little line in it where he suggested that in the future, Kojima Studios will be making movies.
Yes, he did say that. Is this it? Is this him finally getting his way? Like he was like, I made Death Stranding. That's it. Like I'm done. I'm done with video games. Now I gotta make films forever.
Except he still made one divisively reviewed video game first.
He had to leave his mark.
Wondering if he's going to try to be making Death Stranding into a franchise, if he's going to be doing live action or animated movies, or I'd be so down for a Yoji Shinkawa movie. Like wispy, sketchy ghost people with no skin or boundaries melting their way in and out of the frame for 90 minutes. That would be great.
I wouldn't be able to stand the dialogue of the film. I was talking about The King earlier and how boring it was. I don't think as a film I would be able to stand the dialogue of a Kojima thing without it being punctuated with good gameplay in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Well, if Kojima has a good writer, like Mr. Fukushima on MGS 1 and 3, then maybe they'll be able to either rein him in check. But at the same time, you also got to wonder if 1 and 3 were the product of someone who is like younger and more energetic and inspired in their careers, and if that bottle of lightning is just not going to come back anymore ever again.
I am kind of happy for him in a weird way. He's definitely full of himself.
One of the angles to it he mentioned was that he believes that in a few years all of everyone's TV, movies, and games will be on streaming platforms. So he's seeing this as a way to break into competition of his games now trying to share the same space as non-interactive content, which reminds me that a few weeks ago Riot Games had revealed that they were going to start producing an in-house animated series for League of Legends.
Blizzard already make like some of the best cinematics that you wish were movies anyway. The new Diablo cinematic is fucking amazing.
So good. So good.
So it's possible.
The difference between having their feature made in the Hollywood system versus in-house, I think, is going to be pretty big.
There's definitely, I think what Kojima says is smart. There is definitely a space now for somebody with a budget to not have to rely on filmmaking in a traditional sense of releasing in the cinema and having to be funded by a studio and all this kind of jazz. Like you can make films now like I Am Mother and films similar to that in scale and budget on Netflix. And you can not bankrupt a studio and you don't have to rely on cinema ticket sales to be able to make the next one. So I think that's potentially an avenue. If I think Netflix would snap up the idea of like the first film from Hideo Kojima streaming now on Netflix.
Oh, by the way, that was a real suit in I Am Mother.
I know. I saw the corridor digital video as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I think everyone's watching them now.
Is this what it might take for video game movies to be good? Is for them to be made in-house on a streaming platform that the games are competing with other entertainment on?
I think they will be always two separate entities. But
well, what about good? Sure, separate entities, but what about when?
No, because Kojima wouldn't make a game that's a video. He wouldn't make a film that's a video game film. He'd make a film, but written like Hideo Kojima, which would be bonkers.
I just
end up being MGS4 back to back without any gameplay. That's what it would be
would want the Kojima movie to be artsier than that. I would want it to be like a Yoji Shinkawa animated feature or some weird artsy
you can't have famous
Japanese
in that
movie. They can have them animated.
Kojima likes famous people.
Animate the famous people, Kojima.
Do you think Kojima could stick to a 2-hour time limit as well?
2 hours is like the minimum I would expect.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's going to watch that.
Cameo, the game. I can't wait in a few hours.
Oh. Okay,
We're 1
well,
hour and
anyways.
28 minutes into Cameo the game.
I can't wait to deliver pizza to Conan.
And Edgar Wright.
One of the bigger ass news topics of this week that I actually wrote bullet points out of that we might talk less about than the Kojima movie, which is just a rumor which doesn't have anything, is what a roller coaster BlizzCon turned out to be. Yeah, okay, there's China, there's Overwatch 2, there's Diablo 4, there's a story mode, there's no offline mode, there's Winnie the Pooh cosplayers, there's a non-apology, the esport athletes and the streamers are still banned. There's intrigue and conspiracy. The Blizzard president is now like putting blame on their Chinese partner NetEase, saying that they were involved with the conversations about what to do with the controversial Hong Kong supporting esport athlete and player.
Aye.
There's social media posts from Blizzard's Chinese partner talking about how they need to defend the pride of China, and apparently that was NetEase too. So now, okay, so Blizzard president J. Allen Brack has issued a public statement saying that, quote, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together, and we did not. We moved too quickly in our decision making, and then to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk to all of you. PC Gamer followed up that intro, keynote, I don't know if I want to call it explanation, clarification. I'll call it clarification. This was a clarification that J. Allen Brack began BlizzCon with. PC Gamer followed it up with a rather unflattering review where, rather unflattering interview where Brack mentioned this intrigue with their Chinese partner NetEase and how the people who've been punished are still not. The internet didn't like that. The Blizzard's handling of China is still bad.
But that Diablo 4 cinematic, though.
Diablo 4 has been announced, and the trailer looks fine, I guess.
The gameplay looks the same, but
the trailer looks fine to you, George? Is that it?
Yeah, the art style looks cool, but I've never really been a big Diablo fan, so...
No, I don't think of it as that. Like, no, the cinematic is amazing.
He doesn't like advertisement. George is like against the man. You know?
Yeah. I'm a hardcore rebel who's licking my own finger.
Is that an advert? Like a fucking 9 minutes?
It's advert though.
Like a 9
How is it not an advert?
But it's a 9-minute cinematic that would be in the game regardless. Like, I understand what you mean. It's attached to a product that will eventually come out, but as something I can watch on YouTube for 10 minutes and pass the time in a really cool way, I don't know.
How are you not being advertised? Okay, wait, actually, also, I think we're talking about a different thing. Because what I saw was a gameplay trailer.
You didn't see the actual cinematic, like the 9-minute.
Why would I watch a cinematic trailer with no gameplay?
Because it's
Because the thing is, the gameplay trailer still has the cinematic. Like, there's a beautifully rendered old man.
I don't even know.
Liam, do
9
you
minutes
realize
of-
that the old, like the man with the eye patch, doesn't he look like the
Barrister's not the guy from Game of Thrones. right?
yes?
And he sounds like it as well.
That was weird, man.
It is super weird, and he comes back alive like the guy from Game
Yeah,
of Thrones too.
that's super weird.
Yep, I was like, that guy is that guy from Game of Thrones.
That's definitely copyright infringement.
So- It's so weird. Like, I don't know what cinematic trailer you guys are talking about, but I'm rewatching through the gameplay trailer and like,
No.
yeah, it looks fine. It looks good, actually.
Yeah, that's no. The gameplay trailer is really boring. Like, it just looks. It looks like Diablo. It's fine. Nobody cares about
But the
that.
cinematic trailer
Yeah.
isn't even what you play.
But the 9-minute cinematic trailer is worth buying the game for just to watch that trailer because it's awesome. It's
You
so.
can watch it for free on you.
I know.
You're just fucking with me now at this point. I just
What I'm saying, George, is you need to watch it.
Yeah, it just looks like the
Okay. It is harder for me to watch the cinematic CGI. I've gone on the rant before.
Yeah, you have.
I'm sure I've gone on this rant before.
I think Blizzard get an exception because they are like a cut above any cinematic like trailers. They're not the greatest trailers for video games. That's a completely different thing. But as a cinematic related to a video game, they are a cut above everybody else.
You
The
know,
Overwatch
you do
ones, the
you do
World of
drive a
Warcraft
hard
ones.
bargain here because I watched fuck me, right? While I watched the gameplay trailer for Diablo 4, I did indeed watch the cinematic reveal trailer for Overwatch 2.
See, and that is a weaker trailer compared to the Diablo 4 one.
Yeah, I did like the D4 trailer better.
Yeah.
But you haven't watched the cinematic trailer.
There were cinematics. Whatever.
No,
These are not cinematics, dude.
No,
this is not what we're
George,
talking
George,
about.
God damn it!
These
Come
are
on.
not what we're talking about. I'm watching the video you watched, and it just looks like Diablo.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
it looks fine. It looks
You
like a
need to-
fine Diablo game.
You need to watch the one without gameplay.
Oh my
The
god.
reveal. Oh god.
So
Okay.
Overwatch 2 is gonna have a story mode, and we didn't get to see what it plays like in this cinematic trailer with no gameplay.
Wait,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
There, George, I posted it. That one.
I have been tacking on my keyboard on the YouTube results. I know what you guys are talking about
Why won't you watch it?
because we're podcasting.
I'm willing to wait.
No, you're gonna be disappointed, Liam.
I know he's gonna be like, it was fine.
I'm probably gonna be like, why should I be impressed by this though if it's not the product I'm buying?
Because it's an impressive cinematic. If you saw it on YouTube and it was made by like an amateur like animator or something, you'd be like, wow, this is amazing.
Oh yeah, if it was a completely different thing under completely different context, then my judgment would be different.
But you don't have to buy Diablo 4 to enjoy the cinematic.
Yeah, but I also don't know what's going on in the cinematic if I don't know anything about Diablo.
I'm so confused by how your brain works.
Me too. So let's skip Overwatch 2 and go to listener questions.
Hell
Hello.
yeah.
If you have a listener question, please send it in to dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com.
Give me that vitamin Q.
It's the weird one that the doctor wants you to
Ingest
ingest only in suppository form.
orally.
Our first question comes from Andrew C. After Liam discussed the amount of work that has been put into Death Stranding in such little time, I wanted to ask, do you think Kojima worked on assets for Death Stranding during his time with Konami? If so, would that have implications with the creation of Death Stranding?
No. He would not have done that because
You're
he
not
didn't have-
allowed to, are you?
Because one, he's not allowed to. Two, he doesn't have the ability to because he's not a technical designer. Although the credits of Death Stranding shows that 60 people from Konami moved over to Kojima Productions, which is a lot of people. But regardless, they didn't have an engine. They did not have an engine in time, so they will not have done any work because they won't know what will have been compatible with the engine. Obviously, you don't make assets in engine, you make them in stuff like Maya or Blender and stuff like that. But considering Kojima spent a good year traveling trying to find an engine for his game, probably meant that he didn't want to start anything apart from concept art until, it was possible. He might have been noodling. He might have been writing a script or having, Yoji Shinkawa
abstract idea in his head.
Yeah, bring up some ideas and stuff. But in regards to actually making assets for the game that are in the game right now, no way.
Yeah, you can't do that. This is how John Carmack got in trouble with Bethesda, is that he was working on the Oculus Rift during his time at Bethesda. You can't do that.
It's a non-competing clause. It's almost in every video game studio's contract as well.
If you're working on a really cool video game, but you have a cool idea in your head for another cool video game, keep it in your head.
Yes. Other video game studios will take it from you.
Because I suspect that what was happening at Konami was conceptualization. Death Stranding also resembles to me this concept of Project Ogre, which he was using as a code name to refer to MGS5 when it was still in development. He's, for the past half decade, he's been real big on the whole open world, sandboxy military action game where you can solve problems in whatever way the player imagines. And this MGS5 and Death Stranding both seem like giant sandbox games with player expression and weird player created goals. So I'm sure he thought about it while he was at Konami, but you're not allowed to actually work on it. Otherwise you get sued.
Such little time. The reviews speak for themselves, right?
I am amazed because 2016 to 2019, that's 3 years. I mean, from very, very start to finish, that is quite a neat turnaround considering the technology that is in this game. I'm impressed. We'll find out on the next episode of Dad and Sons.
Get ready for that, dudes. You rent your Death Strandings.
Jamie P asks, what was your favorite Halloween costume you've dressed up as, either as a kid or as an adult? Also, how did you celebrate Halloween now that you're kind of old?
Family Chicky.
Why do I think Jamie's like a boomer? It's like
okay,
16
boomer.
asking us, you're kind of old. Guys.
Family Chicky.
What?
We talked about this
Yeah,
already.
Yeah, we did this a week ago, a little bit, but
No, not 2 weeks ago.
We didn't say, how do you celebrate Halloween now that you're kind of old?
Get drunk.
I went to a huge house party and I was
Matt
Chewbacca.
sent us pictures. Yeah, Matt sent us pictures. I forgot Matt actually looked fucking wicked. Matt looks great.
I was Chewbacca and I kept it was like a onesie, but I kept getting stuff from other people. So for my belt, I had another friend who brought he was a doctor, but he had Jello shots on this belt thing, and I wrapped it around me so it looked like
It did look like you were delivering all of the shots to the good people.
Yes, I was. I ran out really quickly. And then I stole a hat from an Asian cowboy. He's from Montana or something like that, but he still has his country roots. So I stole his hat. But yeah, that's why the picture looked like that. I forgot which one I sent you. Did I send you the one with the gag ball too?
I can't remember.
It was a wild night.
3. Oh, gag ball. Ooh.
It was
wild. Definitely getting wild.
It was a good time, man. That's how you celebrate when you're old. You go over
You get drunk.
and trash your friend's
Somebody
house.
else's house. Yeah. Get dressed up and just go drink.
Yeah, it's responsible. If you pass out, it's at your friend's house. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Don't go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, no, none of that. None of that. And everyone
You might
there
have
will
done
help
that
you
once.
if something happened. But be responsible.
Yeah.
We're all adults here.
Mike Han asks, Matt, what is your favorite Hollow Knight boss?
What did you do? Whoa. What did you do?
Come on, Shaggy.
Last year I went to a Halloween party with friends. Last year I went to a Halloween party with friends.
Last year I didn't do anything, so you know. There you go.
Actually, I'm with you, George. This year, I also did not do anything.
Oh,
I
I was
played the Outer
disappointed.
Worlds, and honestly, I thought about, like, I checked my phone and I was like, oh yeah, it's Halloween. I'm kind of happy I'm just playing Outer Worlds.
I'm kind of lonely, and I'm playing video games.
So Mike asks, Matt, what's your favorite Hollow Knight boss?
Oh man, what is my favorite Hollow Knight boss? God, I remember getting my ass kicked by the one in, I think, the deepest. Was it the deepest?
The Deep Nest.
Yeah, the one that's on the bottom left of the map. I kept getting my ass kicked, and I kind of liked it. And then there was like a harder mode after you beat him and you go inside. Oh my god! And it's
Oh
like little
yeah, I
dreamland.
just finished up the Deep Nest. I saw how you can replay bosses with the Soul Master.
Yeah.
As soon as I went back to replay that boss again, and I was like, no, never mind, I'm good.
Dude, a lot of these bosses are like just really good, just phenomenal stuff, man.
So the Deep Nest, are you talking about the spider type people? I'm trying to
No, it's
remember
like-
if they were a boss fight or not. I might not have actually gotten to
I'm trying to
the
look,
boss in particular you're talking about.
trying to look for all the ones here. Yeah, it's bottom left of the
Nosk.
map, and it's like kind of like where you get like a flight power, I think.
It could be Nosk, maybe.
Yeah, for some reason it's not showing up here. Oh, Warrior Dreams. It might be a Warrior Dream then. But yeah, it's I can't remember what boss it is. I can't remember what boss, but I remember him having like a sword or whatnot. It wasn't a Needle Girl. But bottom left of the map, you would probably understand what I'm talking about, because at the end there's like a little statue at the bottom of the map too. That
Whole
place.
area has just been like a grind for me to get through.
There's just like barely any monsters in that area. It's very like
There's
gloomy.
pitfalls. There's spiders that come out of the background and rush you. Remember the big spiders with the masks that clog up holes?
Yes.
They're hard.
This game is not hard. This game's easy. What are you talking about? Get good. son.
Hollow Knight's hard. And in a few weeks I'm gonna have a lot to say about Hollow Knight, I'm sure.
If you finish it. Yeah.
Everyone, what's your favorite boss ever?
Favorite boss ever?
Favorite boss ever.
The Deep Nest. No, that's not it. That's not what I'm talking about. No, not that one.
Favorite boss ever?
Can I do a little bit of an unconventional submission?
Yeah.
I want to say, like, Undertale has a lot of good bosses, but Metaton, I think, as the years
Yeah,
have rolled
that's
on,
pretty cool.
Metaton, I think, is gradually becoming one of my favorite boss fights.
Jetstream Sam from Metal Gear Rising.
Ooh.
That is a good fight.
It would have been too easy for me to pick a Metal Gear game, so I'm branching out a
different-
bit.
It's a good fight though.
Oh my god, the Metal Gear game. I really like the sniper stuff, man. The sniper guy. old
The
guy.
end.
Just
Sniper
just
Wolf?
the
The
Yeah.
old.
Oh, in MGS3.
yeah. It's a lot of those bosses are creative. It's not necessarily hard. It's just like
God,
the
I
build
love a
up towards
creative
it.
boss.
And then all of a sudden he just gets up out of the chair and then he's just somewhere there in the forest and it's just quiet. Oh my god. I remember the first time I played that, I was like, wow, this is cool. This is freaking cool. Yeah, but yeah, that's probably one of my favorites from Metal Gear. Ancient Basin is the area I'm talking about. And I can't
Oh yeah, I haven't cleared
Yeah.
that one out.
It is Lost Kin, I believe, is the boss. Lost Kin. He looks so
In-
normal in this picture, but I know that boy ain't normal.
Instagram versus reality.
Yeah. Or it could be Broken Vessel, too. Those were pretty. That was hard. That's a hard boss. But yeah.
Creative bosses are so much more fun than hard bosses. IMO, I feel, to me.
What's his name from Sekiro?
Genichiro?
Sekiro.
Genichiro, yeah.
Sekiro wasn't creative. Sekiro was just hard.
I think Genichiro is pretty creative considering, it's limited in what it can do. It's just you fighting a samurai dude, but he jumps up, has like the giant like Tachibana arrow stuff firing at you, and he's like firing lightning and stuff, and it's a real test of the difference between your types of what the game's trying to teach you, and he's kind of the same as you but better. I like that fight. That's one that's like a this year fight I remember.
I can't disagree with that. It was a really fun boss fight.
Yeah.
I definitely felt the squeeze, the intense, the relief after you beat him. How your body gets all physical in those games.
When you jump in the air and catch the lightning and throw it back at him, and you're like, oh my god, I did that! Ah, it's so good.
Your toes tighten up and your fingers clench.
Which game are we talking about?
Sekiro.
Oh, that game I'll never play again.
That game is so good. I'm so sad there's no DLC.
I wonder if our opinions on Death Stranding are going to be more or less divisive than our opinions on Sekiro.
I think Matt's going to love it more than both of us. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. I reckon Matt's going to come back and he's going to be like, this is the greatest masterpiece of all time.
Well,
the most important video game in the history of the medium.
It's like, I don't get what these dumb shits are talking about. This is a fucking 12 out of 10.
I could pee and a mushroom grows, and then I can pick it up and eat it. This is the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
You rock the baby. You physically rock the baby.
Now it just sounds like IGN. You feel like Spider-Man.
It's like I'm really Norman Reedus.
Oh my god.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
There actually is a line from an old public access TV show called Gaming in the Clinton Years where he reviews the Flintstones on the Super Nintendo, and he actually says on TV while reviewing a video game with complete sincerity before, the internet invented sarcasm, "Wow, it's like you're really John Goodman."
I think I follow that Twitter. That puts like
I'm really John Goodman. One last question from Aubrey. They say, growing up, my actual dad, not the podcasting ones, would take my siblings and I on cross-country road trips for weeks at a time and create thematic mixtapes for the drive. Oh, we're going to be doing that next week in Death Stranding. These trips inadvertently instilled some of my deepest passions: music, travel, national parks, photography, etc. Has a childhood/young adult experience inadvertently shaped who you are today? Ooh.
Wait, what was that? What was that last one? Can you repeat that?
Has a childhood/young adult experience inadvertently shaped who you are today? The example being dad taking you on road trips, giving you a passion for travel and national parks and photography.
Shit. Yeah.
I mean, I got at least one big one, and that is a cousin of mine giving me some hand-me-down video games.
Oh my god, I thought you said something else.
Whoa, yeah, okay. Now that...
You were so enthusiastic, like, I remember a cousin giving me some hand...
That is not what I meant to imply at all.
I am sorry.
I was like 4 years old... And just got a Nintendo, okay?
I bet you did.
And it was all downhill from there.
Definitely like video game wise, when I got my Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive, my grandmother came back from playing golf. She's obsessed with golf. And she came back and I was 4 years old, and I remember saying to my mom, "Oh, one of the girls from golf's grandson is going to university and they're getting rid of his stuff." Now, in hindsight, I think back to being that grandson and thinking, oh shit, they threw away my Mega Drive for free? Anyway, I got that poor sucker's Mega Drive because they didn't know what to do it. It was like 1994. So they were like, oh, maybe the kids will enjoy it. It's like a toy. So I got a Sega Mega Drive through some poor woman at golf, which sparked my love of video games, having played my first ever video game, RoboCop versus Terminator.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
RoboCop versus Terminator.
So I guess that was like the spark of the video game thing, and then how I got my N64 at Christmas as well. That was another way. So
That is such peak ass like 90s radness.
hell yeah,
Being an 11-year-old boy, or just a boy, it doesn't even matter what age you are. RoboCop and Terminator, even if you're way too young for both franchises, you
I
still
was
knew
too
who they
young.
were.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just remember the Terminator and being like, "Oh, I know who this is." I was 4 and probably had seen him in a magazine or something. I don't know. But in regards to like something outside of video games, my dad used to take me to a lot of soccer games. Ever since then, I've always really enjoyed like live sports. Like going to watch, even if I'm not that interested in the sport, but watching sports live and feeling like the atmosphere of everybody in the stadium and stuff like that is something I, till this day, really, really still enjoy, which is very different to video games.
I gotta say, like, a lot of the stuff that I'm into now, like heavily into music, travel, and all that, and hiking, all this stuff I developed later in life.
Yes.
Like, I didn't get any of this stuff when I was younger. Like, none of it. The only thing I would say was, like, when I was young, my single mom bought a Nintendo with Ninja Turtles on it and a Mario game. And ever since then, I've been playing video games. Because
You got one of them Marios.
some Marios. Yeah. And ever since then, I've been playing video games. But other than that, yeah, dude. It's all downhill from there, right, George? But yeah.
I wonder if having a big backyard with some woods. We had woods in the backyard when I was in the 3rd and 4th grades. Wonder what that did to me. Like, is that why I like walking around in the woods in these boring ass WRPGs so much? Is it's because it reminds me of a couple good years of childhood?
Oh, George.
It's like I'm always fascinated by the question of nature versus nurture. Like, do we just like the things we like because of elaborate butterfly effects of stuff tracing their way all the way back to your early childhood? Because, I have talked to you guys before about how my dad would, like, bring me up on tales of old Greek legends, and now somehow that's coming back to hit me hard right now.
Yeah, too hard, in fact. Curb your enthusiasm.
Gotta get smacked right back into our current era, don't I?
I definitely am glad. I don't know about you guys, but those types of things, I'm definitely glad I take joy in the small things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing the bike trip when I was 22, like, that taught me so much patience.
I was just thinking, like when I was a kid, what I would get most excited about, and it would be like the stupidest shit, like opening a booster pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic cards.
Oh yeah, the smell.
Just
yes.
the excitement of not knowing what you're gonna get. You've spent your pocket money on it. You've gone with your friends to the store. You've made a whole day of it.
Yeah.
And it's just the tiniest joy, but it means so much to you. And I am so glad that I have managed to keep that even now. Like sitting down, wrapping myself in a blanket, having a cup of tea while playing a video game and listening to a podcast is now like my favorite thing to do. And it's like, why do I need anything else? This is brilliant.
Yeah. My God. My mom used to take me to this flower shop that for some reason would buy a pack of Pokemon, a booster pack.
Nice.
And we'd go in there and buy them. They were like a little bit cheaper than like the regular card shops. And every like Sunday, we'll go and buy a pack.
God, that new card smell is something that is still burned in my brain, and I haven't smelt that in like 20 years.
And back then, you looked at it and you enjoyed every card you got. Nowadays you're just like, oh, this card's shit. This card's shit.
And you would carry them around with you everywhere.
Yeah.
And you'd hold them in your hand for like days. You never let go.
Yeah.
Like, this is my new Chansey. Don't touch my Chansey.
Yeah.
I will cut you.
Yeah. Shitty cards had value. Because you're a
emotional.
kid.
Sentimental, emotional value.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Everything is more precious when you have had less time to consume it.
Yes.
I still have a box of them. They're just not back home. I have a box of them. Yeah.
And now it's like you'd find the box and you'd be like, oh, I can enjoy Pokemon again. And then immediately you'd go on the internet to find out what the best meta decks are, what cards you need, how much they cost on Amazon, like what shinies you need to get. We need to simplify things a bit more.
Yeah.
Live in the simple times, boomers.
Well, no, you need things. Everyone wants things. I want.
How can the economy sustain itself if people don't just spend money on things all the time?
Yeah.
Just take joy in more smaller things, more simple things, like road trips and hiking. And
hiking is good. Hiking is good, man.
Leaning back on an open, clean road, listening to your favorite dads and sons.
Yeah, like this podcast. It's free. Free.
For now.
Ooh.
Until we announce Dad and Sons Premium.
The new subscription service model where Kojima will be debuting his first film. Only 24.99,000 yen a month.
You gotta understand, our podcast will be the streaming platform for Kojima's movie.
In existence.
Our podcast will stream his movie, and you just gotta listen to it.
The DAS streaming service.
Dad's as a service. Okay, that's it. We've peaked.
Coming next year.